If that intro into the PS1 makes you have wonderful euphoric feelings, then you're definitely not alone. Now, recently I've been delving back into the PS1 systems and catalog of games, and I'm finding myself appreciating the system more and more for what it is. The original PS1 was a pretty normal size compared to the other systems at the time, but it was one of the first of its kind to play disc formatted games. Some of the earlier versions had more audio connection options on the back, and with later revisions they seemed to remove more and more of those features. The top of the system came with a power button, a reset button, and the button to open the disc bay to insert the games. It also had space for 2 controllers and 2 memory cards, which were required in order to save games. The PS1 library consisted of a wide genre of games, from action-adventure titles like Tomb Raider and its many PS1 sequels. Games like Medieval and its character action gameplay were also a great time on the system. Crash Bandicoot also made its debut on the PS1 and led the PlayStation as its mascot for a good while. You also had great titles like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series with its great soundtracks. The famed Gran Turismo series started on here as well. One of the titles that to this day I can still go back in and play over and over is Metal Gear Solid 1. This series started back on the MSX, but it grew in popularity with the release of MGS1. I'm not going to go into a full review of MGS1, I will just say that to this day, it is still one of my favorite gaming experiences of all time. From the boss battles, the intro to each character, along with their backstories, the voice acting and character performances were incredible for a game of its time. I mean, who could forget the unfortunate voice line deliveries in the original Resident Evil games?
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right. Barry.
What I really wanted to showcase on here was the PS1 with the LCD screen attachment. These came out a few months before the launch of the PS2 systems, and it was Sony's last-ditch effort to get some money out of the PlayStation 1 name. I would have loved to have this version as a kid, as someone that spent a good amount of time on road trips. This, alongside with my Game Boy, would have been the perfect companion. This was a setup as a semi-portable option to play PS1 games. Of course, you did still require a power connection either from a wall or a car adapter. I also know they did sell a third-party portable battery that you could attach, but those were pretty rare to find. The overall form factor of this was really nice, as having the LCD attachment on it allowed you to fold it up and put it in a bag to go with you. So far I've really only used it at home, but it has been wonderful to see all the PS1 games playing on this screen. Of course, you can make the case that playing on a bigger TV makes more sense, and yes, I'll agree to an extent. It is still pretty neat to be able to just play on here without the need of an additional TV screen. I'm not going to go into a full review or description of the games I own, but here's a look at some of my physical collection. Of course, the collection isn't complete without a few of the Final Fantasy titles. Even the first Harry Potter game on here is pretty decent. I don't have all the Tomb Raider games, but I recently picked up Tomb Raider 2, and I look forward to checking that one out. The Crash Bandicoot games are also a joy to play, including Crash Team Racing. Can't leave out the random sport titles either, and oh my god, Theme Park. This game was played constantly when I was a kid. The music and the sounds, they were just great. I didn't have a PC growing up, so this was the closest thing I had to Roller Coaster Tycoon, and I truly enjoyed this game a lot. I think the design of this was fantastic, and I really have enjoyed my time with it. The great thing about it is that you don't need to remove it if you want to connect over to a TV. Sony was smart enough to include all the same ports on the back. They also had an audio out and headphone option too. Now, this leads me to what Sony was probably already planning on doing next, which was providing a truly portable gaming experience option. I feel like they put their foot in the water with this system and ultimately led to the PlayStation Portable. A system that was designed to let you truly have a portable PlayStation experience with no need for a wired power source. The PSP is one of the systems I love to use for playing PS1 titles that are great for on-the-go experiences. The PS Vita also offers these options and is a great option if you decide to play games portably that way. Here's a little bit of Crash Bandicoot running on the PSP. Now, Sony did offer these games that you could purchase and download, and unfortunately, since the store no longer exists, there's going to be other options you would need in order to get these games to run on a PSP, and most people by now know already what that is. Sony eventually released the PS TV, which allowed you to play PS Vita titles, digital PSP titles, and also PS1 titles that you could purchase from the digital store. Now, if you bought PS1 titles on a PlayStation 3 system, you can use the PS Vita or the PS TV to download them. I have a few different memory cards for my Vita, so here's one of them on my PS TV with some of the PS1 titles that I have been playing. It's really awesome to be able to just grab this little PS TV, take it to any room, and connect it real quick to play some PS1 titles without needing to connect a whole big system or anything that way. If you go to the PS Store on the Vita or the PlayStation TV, you'll still be able to find a wide variety of PS1 titles available for a very low price compared to their physical copies. Just go to the store, hit search, and search PS1 as it's written on the screen right now, and you'll find many games on there that you can still download and play, and they are compatible with the PlayStation 3 as well. Speaking of the PlayStation 3, that's another way that you can play PlayStation 1 games still. You can put in physical games into the PlayStation 3 that are PS1 titles, or you can go on the PS Store and download titles that way as well. And again, they're relatively cheaply priced compared to their physical counterparts, so if you're interested in something like Darkstalkers 3, which is usually over $100 or so physical, you can pick it up for $6 on the PlayStation Store. So definitely many options on how to play PlayStation 1 titles across a wide variety of devices, which to me is amazing. I think Sony really hit the nail on the head with the PlayStation 1, as they were able to provide many different types of experiences for people of all ages. I wasn't able to fully appreciate the Final Fantasy series at that age, as I was still a pretty young kid, and it seemed like the game was designed for, quote-unquote grown-ups. So I couldn't really grasp the concept of it and couldn't appreciate it in the way that I appreciate it nowadays. But they did put out many different games that were, designed to test your knowledge or designed to test you rhythm-based, like Parappa the Rapper. You had Super Mario 64 style clone games that didn't hit as well because, let's face it, it's not Mario. A lot of the fighting games came out on here, like Tekken, Bloody Roar. So if you're looking for 3D fighters, that was the place to go. Heck, even sports titles like Hot Shots Golf, you could still go back to and enjoy it and have a good time. Graphics don't really matter with some of these titles because the gameplay itself was fun enough. I know people that still go and play the original, game day games, and Madden, and of course NFL Blitz is up there on some of the best games to play, and while the graphics aren't the greatest, the experience is still fun, and I truly enjoyed my time with it. Command & Conquer is another series, and even Diablo was available for the PlayStation 1. As someone that didn't grow up with a PC, these were the options that were available to me, and, of course, you can still do that, or you can go play the PC versions. There's many options available. For me, the PlayStation 1 was just a defining moment in gaming, and it truly did bring lots of experiences that, to this day, I truly appreciate, and I'm very thankful for them stepping up and joining the gaming circle, and it's still one of my favorite systems. So many different games that I love for it, and I don't know, I think it's fantastic to still go back to and play, even after all these years. I know there's a lot of games I didn't get around to covering or mentioning, like the Resident Evil series overall, but I will make more videos alongside this one for the PlayStation 1 stuff, because there's still so much to talk about. So thank you again for tuning in, and I appreciate your time, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.